Hi everyone, this is Cristina
and Carmen,
and this is another episode of Spooky Tales, the podcast for all things spooky, sometimes also true crime, like right now in the past several episodes.
Several weeks.
Yeah.
What came of that poll that you did? What did the people like?
I did a poll on Instagram to ask what people thought of this new format, the one paranormal case and one true crime case. And yeah, at first it was 50-50 and I was like, this is not helpful. Mm-hmm. It was exactly 50-50. And then it widened the gap. But in the end, more people love true crimes and paranormal case.
Okay.
I will say, if you don't like the true crime portion, just skip that part, just skip it.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're allowed to. Sometimes it's difficult to find a paranormal case that's long enough, like one long case. So that's why once in a while we'll throw in another, like a true crime case, because we're running out, of long cases.
What about the folklore? Is that all covered? Is it done now?
No, we can always find more in different cities or countries. There's always more stories that we haven't done. I just haven't been in super research mode, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's what I miss.
Yeah, you know what? We'll do that. Let us know what country you want us to focus on, the folklore of that country that we haven't done. We've done a lot of El Salvador, a lot of Mexico. We've done some South American countries.
Where was the hat guy from?
The hat guy. Oh, Guatemala, el sombrerón.
Ajá.
Yeah, that was Guatemala. But I'm sure there's places we haven't done. So yeah, let us know. Obviously, we'll look for something too. But yeah, there's definitely folklore out there that we haven't done. And yeah, it's been a while since we've focused on that. Those are always fun. Even individual Mexican cities will have a bunch of stories. So like, how we did Guadalajara?
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do that next episode. You know what? Not maybe. Let's do it. Actually, we might already have a topic.
Just soon.
For next episode.
Yeah.
No, scratch that. I will put the folklore first and then we'll do the cult. Because you know what? It's been a lot of back-to-back true crime.
I do like cults though, so.
I know, me too. I love them. It sounds bad.
I love learning about them there.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. Before we get to today's topic, I guess I should let everyone know. Today, we are talking about Latin American cases that inspired horror movies. And we have one story from Mano Peluda. But before we get into that, we do have a listener story. And if you have a story that you want to send into the podcast, you can email spookytales@gmail.com. You can submit it on Discord. We have a new Discord link that actually works. So you should be able to click on the show notes and it'll take you there. That's one option. You can always DM me at Spooky Tales. I'm the one who runs all the social media, so it'll be me you talk to. So you can DM us, me, whatever, on Instagram. Yeah, all of those are options. Okay, so now I have this listener story. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so I don't know if they wanted to stay anonymous. I will keep them anonymous. And I'm also pretty sure I haven't read it. Okay. I was 5 months pregnant with my son at 19 years old and lived in a little 2-bedroom apartment with my then fiance. We had just gotten a kitten we named Zodiac. I always felt watched in that apartment. One night I was getting up to go to the bathroom for the 50th time because that's the joys of pregnancy. True that. It was probably around 2 a.m. The master bedroom was in the top left of the room and I slept in the bed, basically the bottom right of the master bedroom. Okay, we're getting a little layout here. That always helps paint the picture.
Doesn't help me because I have no concept of, I don't
know.
No,
you're right. I don't know. I don't either. But for those who can imagine this, I'm sure it helps.
Hopefully you pictured it. I didn't. I couldn't.
I tried, but I couldn't. On my way back to my side of the bed, I heard deep, weird growling. It terrified me. I was staring at the direction for a minute and there was nothing. I ran and jumped in bed. The end corner of my side of the bed sunk down just a bit.
Oh God. Now that I understood. No?
Yeah, right. I screamed and woke up my then fiance, now ex-husband. He said it was probably Zodiac. The problem was that Zodiac had been sleeping by my pillow the entire time. Then he said it was probably just me having a realistic dream. I doubt myself all the time, but I remember the fear I had and the growl towards me and then the pressure on the bed. I had never saged the place so much in my life and said any prayer I could find on expelling evil presences. I don't know what happened that night, but it never happened again. Besides still having the feeling of being watched in that bedroom. It was such a creepy feeling. I slept with the bathroom light on for the remaining 4 months I lived there. I wish I had thought to get a priest involved, but I was 19 in an abusive relationship, lots of issues in my life. If anyone has thoughts, I'm always open to them. My first thought was a hellhound. I never really know what I believe in though.
Wow. I have no thoughts. Just scary. Just how scary.
Yeah, that's your only thought. Yeah, I would. I mean, the growling definitely makes me think something worse than a ghost.
Like what? Sinister?
Yeah, sinister. Thank you. I was like, what is the word I'm looking for? Something evil. Because I mean, a ghost is already scary, but growling? No.
Yeah, and they're not really known for growling, so
that was something else. Yeah. But you know what? Glad you're out of that situation and away from that apartment. Yeah, that's scary.
For sure.
And yeah, and thanks for sending that in. All right. Do you want to kick our episode off now, Carmen? After you're done yawning? Am I boring you? No.
No, I was so excited watching the Usher performance, and now I'm tired. When he came out on skates.
Oh my God. I was like, oh no, Usher, please don't fall.
He's a pro.
Apparently, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I started seeing his skating videos during the pandemic on like 2020. You know how everyone was skating.
Oh, I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Sometimes I want to start skating, but I'm like, no, never mind. I cannot.
I was telling my husband, I was like, I wish I could skate like that. And he just laughed.
Damn.
And I was like, you should skate like that. Because you know how the one guy or like couple guys slid on their heads, like the breakdancing move, but on skates.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow. Okay. On to our case. Enough about Usher.
Just one more thing. I loved all of it. I'm never going to shut up about Usher. Every time one of his guests came out, I was like screaming.
He was our first CD.
He was my first crush, my first everything.
Yeah. Our only poster in our shared room was Usher from Confessions. Yeah. So yeah, of course, we were over the moon about this performance. But no, when everyone started coming, I was like, oh my God, it's Lil Jon. And I was like, oh my God, it's Ludacris. Like...
Yeah. It was amazing. The highlight of today, my year so far, I think.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Okay, now I think I got enough out of it. Or enough.
You got it out of your system. Yeah. For now.
Yeah. Okay, on with this paranormal case. All right. So you and MJ have talked about Nahuales before, but just in case anyone needs a reminder, a Nahual is a shape-shifting sorcerer, a brujo who gained the ability to do this, to shapeshift by doing something truly evil or by making a pact with the devil. Of course, before colonization, they were not inherently evil. It was a shaman that had this ability, and they were usually protectors of nature and animals, and they were beings that kept the balance of the world safe. But now they're evil and they're to be feared. Nahual stories are mostly heard in Mexico, though almost every culture has a similar belief. Are they called Nahuales everywhere else too? Or do you know what they're called, like in other places?
Here in the US, I would say they're like those things that must not be named that shapeshift, and there's like a ranch about them. I'm sure you know.
I don't remember if it was one of your episodes or I was listening to Two Girls, One Ghost, and everyone kept saying that. And I was like, what the fuck is that? It took me forever to figure out what it was. So I don't think everyone knows.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to say it.
It's a skinwalker, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, you said it, not me.
It's okay. I don't believe in most of this, so.
Okay, well, I hope you don't get haunted because, okay, let me take a pause from this story.
Well, now you're going to scare me.
Yes, I am. There's one similar story that's not in Nahual, but it's in Chiapas, I want to say, the Chiapas region. It's oh my God, the White Chivo.
Oh, I remember that.
And it's a very similar story. And I repeat the story all the time because I need to warn people.
Okay, I was just kidding.
Yeah, apologize to the world right now and the universe and whatever.
Just in case, I am just kidding. But go on with your story.
I will. So the White Chivo is a very similar, like a brujo sorcerer that shapeshifts into a half animal, half man type creature, and they're like said to be very evil. There's even like a saying in this region of Mexico where they're like don't go out after midnight because the White Chivo wanders this area. And when MJ and I were both writing our notes about this, she kept hearing knocking on her apartment window. She was like on the 3rd floor at this time.
I remember that.
I mean, come on, how do you explain that? And then like some of her books would fall over, and then her kids kept having nightmares. And like I wasn't experiencing anything like that, but on the the day before we recorded, when I finished all my notes, I went to sleep and like, Carmen, I barely remember my dreams.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm sure I have them, but I don't remember them. I don't have vivid dreams. That night I had one of the worst dreams ever. I dreamed that someone broke into our house, and then Kyle, my husband, couldn't like get to where we keep our gun fast enough, and then like he was killed in front of me, and then I woke up right before I was killed in my dream. But then I also like, I think I did a TikTok video about this later, about the same thing, and then I had another dream, and again it was a very vivid dream. It was very similar, like someone broke into our house and we were gonna get shot, but then before that happened there was like this like nefarious deep voice that like laughed and then said, "Oh haha, you've opened like the window."
That's scary.
"And we can like talk to you now." And it was in Spanish, which is worse.
Yeah, everything's worse in Spanish. Well, sometimes it's better, like songs.
Yeah, not when there's a deep growling voice in your fucking dream, okay?
Yeah. Well, okay, I just wanted to say it in case there was people that don't know what it is, because I once was listening to either you or Two Girls One Ghost, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? So just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Anyway, just, I don't know, be careful when looking these things up, because if you don't believe, like, I didn't believe in that, and I was horrified. So I don't say it anymore, because I don't know if they're the same thing. I don't know if Nahuales, white chivos, and like, you know, the word we're not going to say are the same, but they're very similar. And yeah, one gave me a nightmare and attacked me in my dreams. So
Gotcha. Well, fingers crossed.
Let's do a little bit bendición. Okay.
Well, where was I?
The beginning. After you said what a Nahual was.
Right. So now they're evil. And okay, yeah, because I asked you what they're called in other cultures. So that's where I was at.
That's what happened, yeah.
This is from a Mano Peluda case titled Nahuales from Las Historias Más Ocultas de la Mano Peluda on Spotify. Unfortunately, the name of the caller or the date of the original call are not shared, so we're just going to give the caller a name. We're going to call this caller Jose. So Jose tells Juan Ramon Sainz that his neighbor Maria Elena told him and his mom that Nahuales passed by their street around 3 a.m. They heard oink noises like from pigs, and Maria Elena had put out mustard seeds in her yard. Was it to feed the pigs?
Yeah, to like prove that they were going into her yard or walking by the street.
Oh, okay, I see. And then they heard nothing. Then around 5 a.m. they saw a man and a woman leaving Maria Elena's yard. Okay, that's creepy. So now I see what you're... So they saw pigs coming and then they saw people leaving.
Yes, and nothing in between. We can assume the pigs were the man and the woman. Yes.
Okay. No one had entered, just the pigs from earlier. And then the next night, the same thing happened. But this time, Maria Elena didn't put the seeds out. The pigs entered the yard and they left. And then the night after that, it happened again. And Jose saw this when he was 10. At the time of the call, he was like 40 something. So this cemented in his mind that Nahuales were real, but this wouldn't be his only encounter with Nahuales. When he was a little older, he was told this story. His mom's side of the family had a small finca where they harvested coffee. All of his uncles and aunts worked on the farm, except one tío, his tío Raúl. Tío Raúl was an alcoholic. He gambled and he didn't help the family at all.
Who doesn't have a tío Raúl, you know?
Yeah, there's always a tío Raúl in the family. For some reason, there was a brujo in the neighborhood that hated the family, an alleged brujo. But especially Raúl. Maybe he stole his money, I don't know. One night, Raúl was walking. It was late and no one else was out. He heard some hissing and saw a snake coming toward him. But the weirdest part is that the snake was standing up straight. Okay, I'm picturing Harry Potter. And sorry, I am being a millennial right now. So the snake was standing up straight, coming at him. Raúl grabbed his pistol and fired at the snake, and he missed the first few times, but eventually he hit the snake on the face. And when that happened, the snake turned into a rat and scurried away. I'm sorry, another Harry Potter image.
Wow, you need to stop.
No, but okay, does that not make you think of what's his name?
Okay, yeah, Peter Pettigrew, you're right.
Wow, and you remembered his name, not me.
I'm sorry, the characters are ingrained in my brain.
So very Peter Pettigrew-like. Scared away. So the next morning, Raul told his mom what happened. She said, I bet it was that brujo, and they walked from their rancho over to town. When they got there, they asked for the brujo, and someone told them, oh, didn't you hear? He got home late last night and he was bleeding from his face.
Ew.
And the person said that they tried to help him, but he died. And they're like, go see him. His body's still in the house.
The coroner hasn't made it over yet, so.
You beat the coroner. And so Raul and his mom went to go look. And yeah, the man was still and no longer alleged brujo at this point. The full-blown brujo, confirmed, capital C confirmed brujo was still in the house. And yeah, that was a brujo. A Nahual. And this man was the snake that Raul had shot.
That's so creepy. Ugh.
Yeah.
Although it'd be really cool to turn into an animal, I will say.
I agree.
Yeah. What animal would you choose?
You know, when they asked you this as icebreakers?
Yeah. What did you always say? A dog?
I think I did.
Okay, because that's what I said.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I want to be a dog? I remember in some interviews, like retail jobs, they ask you this sometimes. And when I was like looking up interview questions, they're like, never say dog. Everyone says dog. And I was like, but I legitimately, that's what I want to be. I want to be a dog. But not only true. I want to be a dog in a rich family that's well taken care of. I want to be that dog.
Yeah, me too. Whatever. I never changed my answer. That it was always a dog, because I'm like, I don't want to be a wolf. I don't want to go out and hunt for my food. I want to be a dog where I'm walked every day.
I want to be taken care of.
Yeah, where I'm fed. I'm given treats. I'm petted. I get to sleep in the bed.
Yeah. On the couch, airy couch.
Get little outfits.
Go out every day, maybe twice a day.
For real, that's the life.
Someone fills up my water bowl. I don't have to fill up my water bowl.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything except wag my tail, like
and relax.
That's what I would do.
Hands down, I would be a dog.
I wouldn't even turn back into my human form, honestly.
Yeah, I think that I would only like if I wanted a new family, then I would like turn into a human and leave, and then I would find a new family. But if I'm being well taken care of, there's no reason for a new family either. So I would just stay a dog forever.
Yeah.
Unless I needed to fly, then I could just turn into a bird, and then I would go somewhere else. And then they'd think that I was missing, but then I had to come back.
Okay, this has gone far enough. All right, we're gonna do an ad break, and then we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Carmen's still laughing. Sorry. At her stupid story. Fucking snorted. Look what you made me do. Okay, well, no, but that was really creepy, that the Nahual. Like, our stupidness aside,
I was talking about being a dog so much that I forgot about that story.
You know what? We needed that because that's truly creepy. Okay, so yeah, Latin American cases that inspired horror movies, which I had no idea. So the first one, and I have not seen this movie.
Me either.
But the movie Borderlands, Al Otro Lado de la Frontera, was released March 2007. It stars Brian Presley, Ryder Strong, Beto Cuevas, and Marta Higareda. I don't know these people.
Were you gonna look them up?
Oh, Ryder Strong?
I think he looks familiar. I think I've seen him. Ryder Strong.
Ryder from Boy Meets World.
Oh, no wonder he looks familiar. I never watched Boy Meets World.
Actually, me neither.
I've only seen like clips here or there.
I know who they are, but yeah, I've never seen it.
I think he's the only one I know.
Yeah, I want to say that is the only person that I know for sure. I did see apparently Sean Astin is in the movie.
Sean Astin.
Yeah, he's from the Goonies. And he's also and then God, what is that movie? Lord of the Rings.
He's in Lord of the Rings?
I think. Isn't he like Frodo or some shit? I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. Another movie I haven't seen.
No one come for me. I refuse to watch them.
It's just too late now. I feel the same way about Game of Thrones. Like, it's too late. The moment has passed.
Yeah.
I'm never watching it.
Anyway, so that's the cast of the movie Borderland. So the movie is about 3 college graduates who were in Galveston, Texas, enjoying the beach. Then they decide that wasn't fun enough. And they're like, we're going to go to downtown Mexico. And that's where the real party is going to be at. Yes. So, yeah, that's going to be more fun. And then they can do more illegal things over there, I guess is what they said. Their words, not mine. This does not go well. One of the main characters, Phil, falls in love with a barely legal sex worker. Problematic. And she has a child. And there's a scene in the movie where Phil walks away from his friends and he goes to buy a teddy bear for the child. And instead he gets kidnapped by the cartel, as things tend to happen. No. The next morning, two of the friends in the friend group realized that Phil was missing and they investigate his whereabouts. And we're not going to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't watched it. I'm not going to watch it, but
Yeah, me either.
It's revealed that Phil was abducted by a drug dealing cult that practices in an ancient African diaspora religion called Palo Mayombe, which is confused with Santeria a lot,
Yeah.
which also is this is like a fake perverse version of Palo Mayombe, I will also add. And he was being held captive by the cult. Planned to make Phil a human sacrifice for their nyanga, which is an iron cauldron that is inhabited by spirits and it makes wishes come true. And again, that's like a twisted version of it. Really, it's like a ritual for luck or whatever, not to make wishes come true. Like it's like any prayer, really. So the cult hoped that by sacrificing Phil, the spirits in the Nyanga would make sure that their drugs would make it into the U.S. without being detected by border police.
I think I know the case this is based on.
I think you do. Because now we're going to get into that case. And when Dawn was telling me about it, I was like, oh, wait, I think I know this case.
Yeah.
So now on to the case that inspired the movie. Adolfo de Jesus Constanzo was born in Miami, Florida, to Cuban parents. His mother immigrated from Cuba and then had him when she was 15. Then they moved to Puerto Rico. This was after the death of his father. And he was raised in a Catholic household, but his mom took him to Haiti a lot because she was learning about voodoo, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then they moved back from Puerto Rico to Miami, and then he started helping a local practitioner of Palo Mayombe, and that's who introduced him to that religion. And like I said a little earlier, Payo Malombe and Santeria, they're confused a lot, but they're not the same thing. They're a West African derived religion with components of Catholicism. Both involve the ritual use of non-human skeletal remains.
Keyword there.
Yeah, keyword non-human, yes. Also, some people, like all religions, which it feels like I'm like over justifying this or whatever or explaining, but like every religion has good and bad people, right? So there's some people that are practitioners of Palo Mayombe that do use human skeletal remains to place in that, iron cauldron that we mentioned earlier. But that's not the norm. The norm is non-human skeletal remains. Mm-hmm. This religion, it's nature-based and again, not always evil. Even though, voodooism, Santeria, Palo Mayombe, they're always depicted as like evil and they're usually like in TV shows and movies, right? Mm-hmm. Something evil. So again, they're not always evil. I just need to say that again. Okay, back to Adolfo. His mom got married again after his stepfather died. Everyone is just dying around this woman.
Could it be her?
I don't know. Maybe. So his stepfather died and her new husband was another practitioner. I don't know. Another person that practiced Palo Mayombe. And he was also a drug dealer.
Okay.
So the neighbors often complained of dead animals being left at their door after they argued with like either his stepfather or his mom.
Okay.
That's a little scary.
It's a little threatening.
Yeah, I would be scared.
One could interpret that as a threat. Yeah.
For sure. The floors of their apartment was also covered in blood and feces. At some point, his mom was arrested for having 27 animals in their small apartment. So not the healthiest.
One could say.
Yeah. In 1994, Adolfo moved to Mexico City, and this is where he began his cult. He gained his first 2 followers here. He set up a spellcasting business, and he became popular with the local drug dealers.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and hitmen and corrupt policemen. That was his client base. These corrupt policemen connected Adolfo to rich cartels who they were like, you know what? You can use his spells. They're going to bring you good luck in your drug deals. So they connected. They were networking. His initial ritual sacrifices included chickens, goats, snakes, and exotic animals like zebras and lions. I don't like that.
Zebras and lions, yeah. No. These animals have been through enough.
I know. I agree. Then his group, his cult, whatever, started to grave rob so they could use human remains in their sacrifices. And they believed this would make their spells stronger. But somehow this wasn't enough. And they took it a step further and began to sacrifice humans. So they were no longer using people that were already dead. They were killing them.
Well, that escalated.
Oh, yeah, it did. Around this time, Adolfo met Sara Maria Aldrete Villarreal, and she was connected to the Hernandez brothers cartel. Sara was born in 1964. She grew up in a middle-class family in Matamoros, Tamaulipas, Mexico. She attended high school and college in Brownsville, Texas. And then she introduced Adolfo to Elio. He was the leader of the Hernandez brothers cartel. And he believed that Adolfo's rituals were the reason that his cartel was doing good. They were, I don't know, getting more money, more drugs into the US, whatever. They were succeeding at their business.
Things were going well.
Yeah, for his cartel. And so this is when Adolfo became part of the cartel, and the cartel became central to his cult. They became one and the same, I guess. Yeah. And so he became what they call their high priest or padrino, and Sara became the high priestess or madrina. In total, maybe around 20 victims were sacrificed by the cult. Most of them were Mexican until they abducted and murdered American student Mark Kilroy in 1989.
And this is when it really mattered because he was an American.
Yeah, it didn't matter before.
Before that?
Yeah, no, really.
Not an issue. Yeah.
Everyone they had sacrificed went unnoticed. Mm-hmm. So Mark Kilroy was a pre-med student. He was having a super fun spring break with 3 of his friends. They planned to spend their days partying at the beach, bar hopping, and then going south of the border during the night. And Mark Kilroy was taken one night while he stood outside of a bar in Matamoros. And he was taken to Rancho Santa Elena. And this is where Adolfo and his cult carried out most of their ritualistic murders and where they stored their drugs. Mark's abduction would have gone unnoticed like the rest of the cult's sacrifices if he weren't American and if it weren't for his uncle, because his uncle was a special agent with U.S. Customs. He was like active in the disappearance. He reported him missing, and he was really active in like trying to figure out what happened. Mexican authorities were being pressured by Texas politicians in Texas who urged them to locate Mark. Again, it wouldn't have mattered to them. Mm-hmm. But because Mark was white and American and had these connections, it didn't matter. And obviously, all these killings are wrong from the beginning, but that's when it became a national issue. Mexican police uncovered Mark's body at the ranch. They also found the cult's ñanga, that cauldron. And in the cauldron, they found a dead black cat, a human brain, and other items.
Yikes.
Altogether, there were 15 bodies found at the ranch, and the officials say that the cult, whatever, the cartel, abducted Mark because they needed a superior brain for one of their rituals. So they needed his, because he was like a med student, he was like smarter than their other Mexican victims. Mark was killed with a machete when he tried to escape. And that is what that movie's based on.
Yikes.
Yeah. Terrible.
But they were caught and everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the second case, this movie, and I'm sure everyone knows this movie, but I haven't seen it. Silence of the Lambs.
I haven't seen it either.
You haven't seen it either?
No.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But it was released January 1991. It stars Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. And yeah, again, almost everyone knows the movie exists, but like we've never seen it.
I did not know it was inspired by a Mexican true crime case, though. That I had no idea about.
Me neither. So yeah, let's get into it. It centered around Jodie Foster's character, Clarice Starling. She's a young FBI trainee and she's hunting a serial killer named Buffalo Bill. And in the movie, Clarice turns to a prisoner and former psychiatrist, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, for his help to find Buffalo Bill because he himself is a brilliant psychiatrist and a cannibalistic serial killer.
Okay, I don't think I knew that he was also a psychiatrist. I thought he was just a serial killer.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be this super smart sociopath, and he's like messing with her the whole time, and it's like this battle of the, I don't know, intellects or whatever. Typical. Honestly, it sounds like a movie that we should like. I just have never seen it.
Yeah, maybe I should watch it.
There's a show too.
They also haven't watched.
The movie and the character of Hannibal Lecter, it was inspired by a Mexican doctor named Alfredo Balli Treviño. And He was a former surgeon from an upper-class family in Monterrey, Mexico. He was also the last criminal to have been sentenced to death in Mexico. He is suspected of killing and dismembering several hitchhikers between the 1950s and 1960s, but this was never proven. The thing he was actually caught for was killing his colleague and former boyfriend, Jesus Castillo Rangel, during an argument.
Oh, an ex and a colleague?
Yeah.
Drama. Well, obviously, actual horrible tragedy.
Yeah, no, for sure. According to court documents, Alfredo went to visit Jesus, who was also a doctor, hence the colleague. And so Alfredo went to visit him because he was collecting some money that Jesus was going to let him borrow because Adolfo was going through some financial troubles. But when Jesus gave him the money, it was a lot less than Alfredo was expecting. And when he demanded more, Jesus refused. And so then he killed him. He took a scalpel to Jesus's throat, and then that didn't immediately kill him. So then Alfredo dragged him to the bathroom, and this is where he finished killing him. I'm not going to share the details. So then he called Jesus's former driver and friend, Francisco Carrera Villarreal, for help getting rid of the body of Jesus.
This was Jesus' former friend and driver?
Yes. So like, what a fucking friend, right?
Wow. Yeah. I would never help bury my friend's body.
If my friend's boyfriend, who I already didn't like for reasons unknown.
Because you felt the vibes. That's why. You knew the vibes were off from the beginning.
For sure. Called me and said, hey, help me bury friend. I'm like, no, what the fuck? I'm calling the police.
I'm like, tell me where you are. I'll be right there. And then on my second phone, 911, bitch.
Seriously, that's what Francisco should have done, but he didn't do that. They went over to his uncle's house and borrowed a shovel.
God.
And then when they left with the shovel, the uncle, Guadalupe Villarreal, was like, something's wrong. And he was the one who contacted police officers.
Oh, okay.
But they had dismembered and buried Jesus.
Well, thank you for Guadalupe.
Yeah, seriously. And so Judge Marco Antonio Leija Moreno sentenced Alfredo to death, but at this time, the laws in Mexico were changing and they were doing away with the death sentence. So Alfredo was charged with 20 years to life instead.
Okay.
So then in the 1960s, Thomas Harris, and he is the author of the book that inspired The Silence of the Lambs.
Maybe I should read that.
Yeah, I don't know what the book is like. I've never read it. I think it's called Red Dragon and it's a series.
Oh, you know what? I heard the first book was good, and then afterwards he started doing too much, and that it wasn't good anymore. I think that's what I heard.
Okay, so he's the author, and at the time in the 1960s, he was a young reporter, and he was assigned to interview a mental patient at the Nuevo León State Prison for the magazine he worked for, and this prison is in Monterrey. He was supposed to go interview a mental patient that was there by the name of Dykes Askew Simmons, and Dyke Askew Simmons had killed 3 children. But during the scheduled session to interview Dykes tried to escape. Dykes was shot by a guard while he was trying to escape. And then a man came in and helped save Dykes' life. And he introduced himself as a doctor to Thomas Harris. And so then Thomas Harris was like, well, I guess I'll interview him because like I need to interview someone. I'm already here. And I don't want to lose this assignment. He interviewed the doctor. They talked about how the doctor treated the gunshot wounds, stopped the bleeding, how he saved Dykes' life, right? And then the interview took kind of a dark turn that left a bad taste in Thomas Harris's like mouth, because the doctor was like he started to ask about Dykes' victims, like oh, he killed children, right? And then he was like wanting details and like almost like he was savoring the details, enjoying the details of the crime.
Ew.
So Thomas, yeah, very ill. Thomas entered the interview and then he was walked out by the prison warden.
He was like, the vibes are off.
Yeah. When Thomas was walking out with the prison warden, he asked the prison warden how long the doctor had been working there. That he seemed a little strange, but overall he was like, well, he saved someone's life, so he must be good. And I mean, he's working here, right? Then the warden was like, hombre, don't you know who that is? That doctor's a murderer.
Güey, es un matador.
O sea, no mames, estúpido. No seas menso.
Mata a la gente.
Güey, ese doctor mata a la gente. Terrible. That's basically what he said. So he said that doctor is a murderer. As a surgeon, he would pack up his victim in a small box.
Oh my God.
And so he's like, he's never leaving this place. He's insane.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing. Just imagine you're like, oh, but he has to be a good person if he helped that guy, blah, blah. Dude, he's a killer.
I would have thrown up. Like, and it's just what a thing to go through. So naturally, Thomas Harris was like, what the hell? Like, what? Are you serious? Because the doctor was charming until he then started wanting a little too
being weird.
Yeah. But still, he like fooled this journalist and he was like, what the? I'm scared.
I am bamboozled and afraid.
Bamboozled and afraid. New sticker. So just like Hannibal Lecter, Alfredo was known in prison for being very charming, well-mannered, and having impeccable taste. Like at this time, it was a mental institution, so there wasn't uniforms. He wore light-colored suits, shades. He had expensive watches. Like he dressed fancy. He spoke very intelligently.
No wonder he thought he worked there.
Yeah, 100%. It reminds me, sorry to bring up Bones again, but there's an episode of Bones where they go into a institution like this. And, Bones is always like talking shit about psychology. And so she's in this hospital talking shit about psychology like she tends to do. And there's like a crisis going on. And so the actual doctor that works at that place and Booth go to help that patient that's having a problem. And she stays behind. And then another psychiatrist walks up to her and they have this smart ass conversation. She's like, wow, I should rethink my judgment of the psychiatry field. And then the other psychiatrist comes. He's like, oh, you met patient blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? It's literally that situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Only worse because it was real.
Yeah.
And it shook his core. Thomas Harris shook his core so much that he was inspired to create the character of Hannibal Lecter based on his meeting with this doctor. And yeah, I get it. The similarities. He also based the whole... this doctor was not accused of being a cannibal, but he was accused of cutting people in small pieces and putting them in boxes. And he took that directly into the movie. Like... horrifying stuff. So the doctor, Alfredo, he did leave prison in the 1980s because he had a 20-year sentence. It wasn't like that was the maximum. It wasn't like he was in there for life. So he got out and he was an old man at this point in a wheelchair. He couldn't walk anymore. And Thomas Harris visited him again. And he wanted to talk about the crimes that were tied to him, the killing of all these hitchhikers, that it was never proven. It was just like, he might have done it, but we don't have evidence. And Alfredo told him, like, if you want, we can talk about anything you'd like except for that. I don't want to relive my dark past. I don't want to wake up my ghosts. It's very hard. The past is heavy. And the truth is that the angst I have is unbearable. I can't live with it. And he told Thomas, like, I paid for what I did. Now my only purpose is to help others. And he, in his wheelchair, was treating patients for almost no money in this like low income neighborhood. And his only goal was to never stop working. And then he wanted to walk again. He died of prostate cancer in the beginning of 2009. And he was still never tried or convicted for the other murders that were tied to him. But yeah. That is the case.
I guess he was rehabilitated.
Yeah, I think so. Also, my camera's going to be off during this portion. My child's sitting with me.
That's who I'm waving at.
Yeah, that is who Carmen is waving at. Yeah, I mean, he must have felt, remorseful, and hopefully he didn't continue killing during this time. But yeah, horrifying that he inspired this terrible, very creepy character.
Yeah, very creepy.
And I guess this brings us to the end of the episode.
That it does.
Do you have any spooky recommendations?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you. I do. It's more of, don't give him the mic now. True crime, as in the survivor of a crime type media recommendation. I've been reading Know My Name by Chanel Miller, I believe that's her last name, who is the survivor of the assault committed by Brock Turner. we all know who that is. I'm not done yet. I'm like I'm almost done. I have like 2 chapters left, I think. And then at the end is the impact statement that she gave. But it's such a powerful book. There's nothing I love more than a good memoir. And to hear survivors tell their stories, like, it's amazing. And she writes so beautifully. It is a hard listen though, like very emotional.
Yeah, I bet.
It's a really good book though. I really recommend it.
I'll have to check it out for my library. Oh, okay, there goes my light.
I'm listening to it on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, but if you do listen to the audiobook, I know that you always speed books up. She does read very slow. Even I sped it up, and I don't like doing that.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
And it sounds like normal, and I put it in 1.5, and then it sounds normal to me. But it's almost poetic in the way that she writes, but not overly poetic. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it's just beautiful. Like, I want to buy it just so I could read it. Also written, not only listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I actually have a spooky recommendation today.
Okay.
I've been listening to this. I know maybe not everyone is a fan of audio dramas. Once in a while, I find a really good one. You don't like them?
No,
I know. I do though. This one is called Agent Stoker, and it's like think X-Files, but the guy gets drunk a lot.
Oh.
As in he drinks a lot. He doesn't actually get drunk in the audio drama. That would be weird.
I figured that.
But yeah, it's just like a supernatural thriller. They're investigating like paranormal cases in this like agency that is like secret.
Oh my God, like the show with, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
There's only like
Less
2
funny.
seasons. Oh, so not funny.
Yeah, the one with the guy from The Office and Ben from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Ghosted?
Daryl from The
No, it wasn't
Office.
Ghosted.
I think it's called Ghosted. Yeah, I think so.
That was a fun show.
I'm so mad there's only 2 seasons.
That was very fun. A very fun watch. Less funny. So really think more like X-Files, more serious.
Oh, okay.
But it's got an amazing cast. Emily Deschanel.
Oh,
Another guy who's like a creepy, like he plays a creepy guy in Bones for like 3 episodes. He's the main guy. I honestly thought it was Hotch from Criminal Minds. His voice is very similar.
oh, he sounds that way.
Yeah. And other like professional voice actors.
Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. It sounds good.
It is. I have been enjoying it. The episodes are like 20-ish minutes. They put all their ads in the front too, so that once you skip them, you're good. It just continuous.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, it's very fun. I'm in the 2nd season. I'm hoping there's going to be a 3rd season. I didn't check when the second one came out. But Tamara Taylor, who's also in Bones.
I don't remember.
She's Cam in Bones, the pathologist.
Oh, wait, never mind.
As many of you know, I've been rewatching. I've been obsessed with Bones like the past 2 months.
Yeah,
so.
you have.
I was very excited when I found this audio drama. It's very good.
Oh, Cam. Yes. I sorry, I just Googled her.
Yeah. Oh, you looked her up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put her image in this part of the video so that people know. But yeah, stellar sound design, stellar voice acting, because I think that's some of the things that puts people off when listening to especially like indie ones, like maybe the voice acting is not there. That's not a thing that bothers me a lot. So
Is it like listening to like how when you listen to the book? Because I don't even like really listening to fiction books, like audiobooks. I only like listening to memoirs or nonfiction books. But I did listen to what's that one book by Isabel, the first one, Isabel Cañas?
The Hacienda.
Yeah, I listened to that one and I did enjoy listening to that one. Is it similar to that?
Well, yeah, you're like listening to a show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a voice acted, so it's like a TV show in your ears.
Okay. I could check it out. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It was very fun. I just finished the 2nd season, so I'm hoping there's more episodes. And that was, again, Agent Stoker. And yeah, I guess now this is the end of the episode.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Carmen, for joining me today. And thanks, everyone, for listening. And I don't know, watch out for a snake in the road that's vertical and chasing you, I guess.
If it's going like this.
Yes. And stay spooky. We'll catch everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.